Your girl is a certified goofball, and yet His Majesty personally chose her for the royal wedding. The moment our emperor slipped off his robes and sat on the bed, your girl couldn't hold back, pouncing on him and covering his face with slobbery kisses. Wait, is this how newlywed life is supposed to go down? Big bro. Our emperor flashed a foxy smile, taking my hand in his. Would you consider this a reward? He purred. Even as a kid, your girl was different. To put it nicely, she wasn't exactly the brightest bulb in the box. To put it bluntly, she was a certified idiot, but nobody, and I mean nobody, ever dared to say it out loud. And that's because her dad was the all-powerful prime minister, with enough authority to make mountains move. Even when she was 4, still drooling, babbling, and sucking her thumb, if anyone dared to mock her, poof, that person simply ceased to exist. Her dad loved her this fiercely because, get this, she was the reason he was even alive. And this all went down before our girl even made her grand entrance into the world. Back in the day, a rogue great general rebelled, storming the palace to slay the former emperor and usurp the throne. Her dad, being the loyal king he was, shielded the former emperor from a poisoned dart and immediately collapsed into a coma. The former emperor put out a bounty for divine doctors, but not even the best could revive him. Until finally a reclusive immortal showed up at their manor, claiming her dad could only be cured by taking a piece of soul and spirit from one of the family's descendants. At that moment, besides her older brother, the only other potential donor was our girl, still cozy in her mother's womb, fully developed but not yet born. Her older brother was the eldest, carrying all the family's hopes and dreams, so naturally, that soul fragment could only come from her. 3 days after her dad finally woke up, our girl made her grand debut. According to her older brother, when she was first born, she was just like any other baby. And since her mom was a certified top-tier beauty, our girl wasn't exactly ugly either. The only difference? She absolutely loved to flash a wide gummy grin, with drool literally everywhere. Everyone who saw her cooed about her sweet smile, fair skin, and adorable looks. A true beauty in the making, but by 2.5, she still hadn't uttered a single word. Everyone in the manor started suspecting she might be mute, but no one dared to say it. Only her dad, doting on her, would gently stroke her head and say, "My little Fu Luoning is just a noble soul who speaks late." The day she finally spoke her first words? It was, of course, at the former emperor's birthday banquet. Her dad brought her mom and older brother, carrying her in his arms to the feast. The former emperor saw her, cradled in her dad's arms, and exclaimed, "Poof, you're already a little lady." Her dad then brought her to perform greetings for the former emperor. She let go of her dad's hand, stumbled a few steps forward, and then uttered her very first words. Long live. Rewards. The former emperor, looking absolutely delighted, waved his hand and bestowed upon her 10,000 taels of gold and an imperial decree, officially naming her a county princess. Talk about a glow-up. Her dad, seeing his little girl finally speak, was so overcome with joy he burst into tears. From that day on, she gradually learned to speak more, but she still wasn't quite like other kids. She spoke slowly, often mumbled, and still face-planted frequently when walking. All signs pointed to her being, well, a bit of a dummy. But somehow this girl was born with insane luck. Maybe it's that blessed idiot energy? She remembered one year, a severe drought hit. No rain for a full year meant zero harvest. The former emperor worried himself sick, with memorials piling up like a mountain in front of him. One day, for reasons unknown, she absolutely insisted on following her dad. If not, she'd throw a royal tantrum. Her dad, having no other choice, had to bring her along to visit the former emperor. She dazedly approached the former emperor's sickbed, felt his feverish forehead, and mumbled, "Rain. Mom said getting caught in the rain makes you sick," she thought. "Emperor Grandpa, get in the rain, and your forehead won't be hot anymore." The moment those words left her lips, a sudden gust of wind swept in through the window, and she happily pointed outside. Look, she chirped. And sure enough, a week of heavy rain completely ended the drought and the former emperor's illness. Poof! Gone! And as for our girl, she gained yet another title, Fuhui County Princess, meaning blessing and wisdom cultivated together. All she knew was that her name was Fu Luoning, because she'd somehow solved that massive drought. The emperor literally saw me as his lucky star. Because my father and Tran had connections to the palace, your girl was on the guest list for every single royal shindig. My first encounter with Tukan Than happened in the royal garden, naturally. I was just chilling and wandering through the royal garden when I spotted someone in the corner. Thinking it was my big bro, I bumbled right over, only to trip and faceplant right in front of Tukan Than. Tukan Than helped me up, and I finally got a good look at this hottie who was way older than me. Tukan Than, with his sharp brows and intense gaze, looked at my dorky self, and then he ass-iled. My brain short-circuited. All I remember is that day in the royal garden, I saw someone even more gorgeous than any immortal. I bumped into Tukan Than, again 2 years later, at the former emperor's birthday bash. The former emperor was like, Lac Nin, come here, help your emperor out. Who else here has that long live the emperor vibe? My tiny brain couldn't compute, so I just stared at the former emperor, probably looking utterly clueless and innocent. The former emperor totally missed my confused puppy dog eyes, just patted my hand gently and told me, go on, go down there and pick one out. I bit my lip, feeling all sorts of confused, and scanned the room. Everyone was a stranger, except for Toucan Than chilling in the corner. I mean, we did meet that one time. So naturally, I happily skipped right over to Toucan Than, poked his cheek with my finger, and then heard the former emperor absolutely cackling. The former emperor was like, yes, my girl Lac Nin just gets it. I still had zero clue what was going on, but everyone else was hyped, so I joined in, laughing so hard I started drooling like a baby. I didn't want immortal bro to see my drooling mess, so every time I did, I'd quickly slurp it back up. And just like that, our boy Toucan Than, who used to be totally overlooked, was suddenly in the spotlight. Once the old emperor passed away, our boy Toucan Than smoothly took over the throne. Hordes of elite young women were suddenly trying to get cozy with him, but our ML literally didn't give a single damn. Yet, every other day, he'd be popping up at the Prime Minister's mansion, right in front of everyone. This cold and ruthless new emperor, who supposedly showed no emotions, was totally acting like a simp. All those beautiful birds trying to get his attention, our boy ML just gave them the coldest of shoulders. This simpy ML was only gentle with me, but sometimes it was low-key annoying, because he'd always make me hold his hand and practice writing his name. Ugh, his name had too many strokes, it was such a pain to write. So, I just dropped the brush. Then I pouted, giving him my best no-face. Our simp ML, caves, alright, you don't have to write anymore. Then he dropped the ultimate line, Ninger, you just need to stay by my side forever, okay? Our girl looked up at Toucan Than, giggled, nodded, and then, without missing a beat, bounced off to tell her dad, Dad, this life, it's you and Big Bro Candon for me. But Dad heard that, and his face literally dropped. That night, he was immediately at the Imperial study, no questions asked. Your Majesty, that girl Lac Nin, she's a bit of a space cadet. My dad, this old servant, was literally on his knees, begging the Emperor, Your Majesty, please just stop messing with her. So since our boy Toucan Than took the throne, he'd been non-stop pestering my dad to make me his empress. Talk about dedication. My dad knew the Imperial harem was a toxic jungle. If I became empress, I'd be shredded to bits, no cap. Thanks to my dad and Big Bro's ironclad opposition, the daughter of the Minister of Revenue, Yang Qingxua, became empress instead. Our girl dodged a bullet. Our typically stoic ML Toucan Than heard my dad's words, and for the first time a tiny flicker of worry crossed his face. Our boy Toucan Than, looking straight at my dad, Prime Minister, I'm genuinely actually into Nin. Dad clapped back, Your Majesty, I know your feelings are 100% real right now, but how long will that sincerity actually last? A month, a year, or a whole lifetime? My dad, for my happiness, was so over it, he completely ditched all that boring monarch minister etiquette. Go, Dad? Dad, knowing the Emperor was simping for Lac Nin, then dropped the bombshell. Your Majesty, there's one thing I absolutely can't keep from you. Your Majesty, Dad started, Lac Nin, she's not exactly your average girl, if you catch my drift. Toucan Than was like, Prime Minister, what in the world are you trying to say? Dad just dropped the mic. Those nasty rumors? Yeah, they're actually true. My daughter, this old servant's daughter, is for real, a complete dork. The lifelong secret my dad had clung to, it was finally spilling out. So, do you actually want to bring a dork into your palace harem? Upon hearing my dad's bomb, Toucan Than was absolutely stunned, frozen, unable to respond. Dad let out a short self-deprecating laugh, like told you so. Dad continued, seriously, which emperor ever would want to marry an idiot? That would literally be the biggest joke in the entire Tianhe realm, wouldn't it? Dad was basically like, see, even you as the emperor won't truly agree to take some— Xi Jingchen totally got our prime minister's daddy worries, and he swore up and down he'd never let our girl suffer a single injustice. Like he was practically begging for an imperial decree to prove it. Our prime minister knew the emperor's sincerity was real, but Luo Ning, oh, she's too pure for this world. And the imperial harem, honey, that place is a viper's nest. No way our girl could survive there. Our simp ML just sighed, like for real? He hated being emperor for the first time. The audacity of love, am I right? If he was just some chill idle prince, he'd totally be able to protect Ninger better. But 100 years after our prime minister is gone, who's gonna look after Ninger then? Xi Jingchen's words, they absolutely hit our prime minister right in the feels. Her brother, always off fighting battles, truly couldn't look after her all the time. Dad was also worried that after he passed, no one would be left to take care of her. If Prime Minister agrees, I'm telling you, I'll take over care for Ninger myself. Our ML swore on his entire empire, that Ninger would be safe and sound in the harem, living her best life with zero worries. If Prime Minister still has doubts, I'll drop an imperial decree on him right this second. Bro literally said if Ninger sheds even one tear of injustice, he'd hand over the entire freaking empire with both hands. Simp alert. After hearing Si Jingchen's words, Dad thought for a long time and finally he nodded. Less than an hour later, Si Jingchen's imperial decree promoting our girl to imperial noble consort spread like wildfire through the capital, leaving everyone absolutely shook and jaws on the floor. Okay, so normally, ancestral rules dictate that promoting a concubine has strict conditions, the most important being, can she pop out a prince? But our girl? She wasn't even in the palace yet, and already broke all the rules to become imperial noble consort. Talk about major plot armor. Time was super tight, so our girl's sister-in-law was worried if the massive gold jewelry set would even be ready in time. She was stressing and feeling bad for our FL. Her sister-in-law was like, forget it, just grab the set the Empress Dowager gave us for our wedding. But why did they let Xiao and Ning into that cursed palace? The harem isn't like home. Here we could protect her, but once she's in there, who's gonna have her back? Our girl's sister-in-law finally stopped packing, and all those tears she'd been holding back, they finally fell. They say a sister-in-law is like a second mother, and after all these years in the estate, our girl's sister-in-law truly cared for her like one. Our girl was so delicate, even a slight headache or runny nose would have her sister-in-law absolutely panicking and taking care of her. Loads of people had their eyes on the Prime Minister's family assets, with all sorts of shady intentions, but none of them ever dared to show their face. Our girl's sister-in-law? Didn't even need 2 words, she just went full girl boss, cussed them out, and sent them running. She was so worried that our girl, leaving the Prime Minister's protective bubble, would suffer injustices. Xiao and Ning, her sister-in-law, vowed, as long as I'm alive, no one is allowed to bully you. Time zipped by, and just like that, the day our girl had to enter the palace arrived. 10 miles of red bridal glory, the whole city was draped in lanterns and flowers radiating pure, overwhelming joy, like, whoa. And this kind of grand display? Usually, that's Empress-level stuff, fam. Our girl is doing big things. A whole squad of palace maids and eunuchs escorted our girl into an exquisitely decorated room. Our girl felt the phoenix crown on her head was super heavy, and the moment she reached up to take it off, a mama beside her slapped the back of her hand. You insolent girl, absolutely no decorum. Our girl had literally never been smacked, not once in her entire life. She just froze, utterly bewildered. Her personal maid tried to speak up for her, but the mama quickly shut her down. In this harem, only the Empress is the true master. If you want to climb, you better know your place. Terrified, tears started silently rolling down our girl's face, but then she remembered Dad's words from last night. Today's a big happy day, no crying. So she bit her lip, holding back the sobs, utterly wronged. Just then, the happy yet anxious voice of her emperor big brother rang out from outside. The nearby servants, not expecting the emperor to arrive so early, all froze in place. The mama was the first to react, shooting our girl a fierce glare. Her voice dropped to a menacing whisper. Your ladyship wouldn't want to displease the emperor, would you? You'd better figure out what to do, yourself. Too bad that mama totally overestimated our girl. Like, how was she supposed to decode that cryptic message? Our girl only remembered Dad telling her, if anything happens, you must tell Si Jingchen. Don't you dare suffer any injustice. The second our girl saw Si Jingchen, she yeeted that phoenix crown right onto the floor, held up her reddened, slapped arm and declared, I'm going home, no one hits me there. Si Jingchen saw our girl's bright red arm, and his eyes went stone cold, sweeping through the room. Killing intent? Oh, it was definitely flashing. Who did this? Then he looked at the 2 mamas standing in front of him. He'd seen these 2 before in the Empress's palace. No one said a word, but he already had his answer. The Empress's discipline was clearly slacking, so he docked her a year's salary. And those other servants? 50 lashes each, fam. Si Jingchen said all that with a straight face, but our girl was still trying to process what her Jingchen big bro had been babbling about for half the day. Anyway, she was over it, and hungry. So she just couldn't help but munch on a delicious, fragrant pastry. Luaning, are you hungry? Hurry, get someone to the Imperial kitchen to whip up some food for the Imperial noble consort. Stat! Kying Tun Bro always uses that gentle voice with our FL, but the sheer contrast just made the kneeling servants tremble even harder. Once our queen started eating, without a care in the world, the Emperor finally turned his gaze to the palace maid Cherry, the one with the slap mark on her face. So tell me, what exactly just happened? Cherry, shaking like a leaf, recounted the whole ordeal. Our Imperial noble consort has had a long day, now go get some rest. Kennington Bro didn't want our FL to hear the gory details that came next, but little did he know, she low-key didn't understand any of it anyway. Once our FL left, the Emperor's expression immediately became strangely unpredictable. So lie, is it? You've been acting all high and mighty. Today I'm gonna show you the consequences of not knowing your place. Like cowered on the ground, kowtowing non-stop, but it was all for naught. The other servants secretly breathed a sigh of relief. So glad they didn't join Lai in messing with our imperial noble consort earlier. Imperial decree. Lai is guilty of egregious insolence. Exterminate her entire clan. Cherry, for protecting her mistress, is awarded 2 years' salary. As for the rest, each shall receive 30 lashes. After delivering his verdict, Kangkang Tun Bro walked into the inner chambers without so much as a backward glance. RFL had been waiting in the inner chambers for a long time. The moment she saw Kangchin Tun Bei enter, she immediately ran over to ask if she could finally go back to the general's manor. Lac Nin, rest easy. No one here will ever dare to bully you again. RFL just shook her head. It's getting dark, Kangkang Tun Bei. I really need to go home now. Mama said, I shouldn't be out playing when it's dark. Kenning Tenbro couldn't stop laughing at RFL's innocent words. From now on, this is our home. A home just for us two. Lac Ning, will you stay here with me from now on? Kangten Bro was coaxing RFL as if she were a literal child. It's already dark, Kangten Bro. How about I put you to bed? Okay then. RFL obediently lay alone on the bed. By the time Kangten Bro changed out of his imperial robes and entered the room, she was already fast asleep. Kangten Bro was both annoyed and amused. Was his Lac Nin really this completely carefree and unfazed? Half asleep, RFL felt someone hugging her. Uncomfortable, she instinctively shoved them away. Lac Ning, don't move. Kangten Bei's deep warm voice whispered right by her ear. Okay fine, RFL thought. If it's Kangten Bei, I guess I'll begrudgingly allow it for a bit. The very next morning, Kangten Bro woke up extremely early for court. RFL was roused by the sounds next to her, and groggily tried to sit up too. But who knew, she only managed to sit up halfway before a full-body ache just pushed her right back down. Seeing this, Kangten Bro next to her quickly helped RFL lie back down, then gently kissed her forehead. Lac Ning, Kangten Bro has to go to court now. It's still super early, you can totally sleep a bit longer, he said. But RFL still stubbornly insisted on sitting up, stretching and saying she absolutely had to go greet the Empress. I have to go early, she declared, then clumsily grabbed Kangten Bro's court robes to help him change. If the Empress gives you any trouble, just come tell me. Kangkang Tun Bro watched RFL struggling with his ridiculously massive imperial robes. Kangten Bro said, just let the servants do it, sweetie. Lac Nin, you should go eat breakfast. Don't go hungry because of me. After seeing Kangkang Tun Bro off to court, Cherry helped RFL get ready and do her makeup. Soon it was time to go greet the Empress. Your skin is as white as snow, Your Highness, and this flower-colored outfit truly looks stunning on you. A junior palace maid brought out a set of peony-patterned, gold-threaded imperial robes for RFL to wear. Peonies are a symbol of nobility. Only the Empress is permitted to use them. RFL didn't understand any of that. She just thought this red imperial robe was exquisitely made and would surely look amazing. The moment RFL entered the Empress Palace, the other concubines saw her arrive late, dressed all flashy and ostentatious. Everyone was low-key displeased, but what happened last night meant they didn't dare to give her any trouble. So they could only resort to subtle jabs. But lol, they seriously overestimated RFL. She had no clue their words had any hidden meaning. Following the etiquette her maid had taught her, after greeting the Empress, she promptly sat down in her assigned seat. The Emperor truly does dote on Imperial Noble Consort Sis. The first to speak was Lady Yoon, sitting opposite RFL. Isn't that right? Just look at Imperial Noble Consort Sis, dressed so gorgeously and luxuriously. She's definitely the Emperor's favorite. None of us can even compare. Alright, that's enough. The Empress intervened. The Emperor likes the Imperial Noble Consort, and I like her too. We're all sisters serving the Emperor, so there's no need to compare who's better or worse. The Empress patiently waited until the other concubines were almost done speaking, before finally stepping in to mediate. As for RFL, she low-key paid them no mind. Spotting freshly brewed tea beside her, she took a sip. Ugh, the tea wasn't sweet enough, and it had a bitter taste going down. Definitely. The Empress says her piece, expecting a reaction, but our girl just keeps sipping her tea like it's water. A flicker of displeasure crosses her face. Imperial Noble Consort, you truly have no decorum. Empress Niang Niang is talking to you, didn't you hear? Yoon Giren, seeing the Empress's displeasure, immediately steps up to throw shade at our girl. Empress Niang Niang isn't actually scolding you guys for being too chatty, is she? Our girl hears Yoon Giren's words, and she's a little confused. Didn't the Empress just tell them to shut up? How did that become about her now? The moment our queen finishes her sentence, the entire hall goes dead silent. Alright, it's not early anymore. Everyone go rest. Finally, it's the Empress who breaks the tension. After our girl leaves, Yoongiren sidles up to the Empress, lowering her voice to a whisper. Empress Niang Niang, tell me, is this Imperial Noble Consort truly foolish, or is she just faking it? Whether she's faking or truly foolish, she's new to the palace, and the Emperor doted on her a little is only natural. There's no need to rush. Thinking about how the mammy she sent last night was dealt with, it felt like a direct slap to this Empress's face. How could she possibly swallow that kind of disrespect? But right now, the emperor is completely showering her with favor, so this empress wouldn't dare touch her. The days are long. This debt, it's just temporarily noted. Time flies, and our girl has been in the palace for 3 whole months now. Honestly, palace life is just so boring. Every single day, it's bowing to the empress, waiting for Si Jingchen to finish court, just rinse and repeat. Lately, the war in the northwest has been intense, and Si Jingchen is super worried. Your girl hasn't even seen him for 3 whole days. Ying Tao, where is Si Jingchen right now? Our girl leans against the window, watching the autumn leaves fall as the weather turns chilly, reporting Niang. After court this morning, the emperor immediately went to the imperial study to meet with his ministers. Our queen immediately gets up, planning to head to the imperial study to find her man. Passing through the imperial garden, she spots Yun Giren and some other concubine, whose name she can't quite recall. Niang, Yun Giren, and Zhen Giren are over there. Ying Dao points ahead, leading our girl in that direction. Is your intel reliable? Did Deputy General Fu really get into trouble? Of course it's reliable. Deputy General Fu was severely injured and has been missing for 7 days. Even the emperor knows about it. That's why the emperor has been hiding and hasn't dared to see the imperial noble consort these past few days. Gege, something's happened. Our girl hears this, panic sets in, and she's about to rush forward to get the full tea. But who knew her foot would betray her? She trips on the stone steps, smacks the back of her head on a roadside flower pot, and everything goes black. Our queen is out cold. What in the actual cultivation is going on here? The imperial noble consort was perfectly fine a second ago. Why did she fall? Through a hazy daze, our girl hears Si Jingchen's furious shouting. Bro is raging. Ying Tao immediately drops to her knees, kowtowing like her life depends on it. Reporting to your majesty, this lowly servant deserves death. I failed to protect Niang. Please punish me, your majesty. Niang felt stifled, so she wanted to take a walk in the imperial garden. She accidentally saw a butterfly, and while chasing it, she wasn't careful and fell from the stone steps. Hearing Ying Dao's explanation, our girl feels like something isn't quite right, but she can't quite put her finger on what exactly is off. The back of her head hurts so bad, she can't help but reach up to rub it. Si Jingchen sees our girl stirring awake and quickly rushes over to help her up. Luo Ning, why are you so careless, my love? Seeing Si Jingchen, our girl immediately remembers the news of Deputy General Fu's accident before she fell, and she bursts into loud, indignant sobs. Why are you crying, my queen? Are you hurt somewhere? Tell this simp where it hurts. Quick, someone get the imperial physician now. Si Jingchen immediately assumes our girl is critically injured, and that's why she's sobbing and crying for Jej. Luo Ning, are you just terribly homesick, my love? Tomorrow this king will be personally escorting our queen back. Our simp ML Si Jingchen was coaxing me like I was a baby. Imperial physician, you better give our imperial noble consort the most thorough checkup. Are there any other ouchies, my queen? Our girl's crying game was so strong, the imperial physician actually got scared and snatched up my wrist to check my pulse. Congratulations, your majesty. Congratulations, your ladyship. Congratulate for what? My Luo Ning is heavily injured. What's there to celebrate? Your ladyship is officially 2 months pregnant. Our girl literally stared at the imperial physician like he'd grown a second head. Si Jingchen was stunned for a hot second, then beamed like he'd just won the lottery and laughed out loud. Luo Ning, did you hear that? We're having a baby! Si Jingchen was so happy his smile could have gone viral on TikTok. Before I could even process it, my eyes caught Ying Dao in my peripheral. When she heard the news, a flash of something else crossed her face. I then glanced at the other maids serving me. While none of them were as hyped as Si Jingchen, they all looked genuinely happy. Wait, why was Ying Dao the only one who didn't get the memo? For the first time ever, I was genuinely annoyed that my brain wasn't braining hard enough to figure it out. Joyous news, your majesty, joyous news. A young eunuch rushed in to report, handing the battle report from the front lines to the emperor. General Fu has triumphed in the Northwest Pacification Battle. Si Jingchen opened the battle report and quickly skimmed through it. Amazing. My Luo Ning, you truly are my lucky charm. Si Jingchen handed me the battle report, then suddenly remembered that our queen, bless her heart, couldn't read, so he told me what it said. The Northwest is pacified, and General Fu is already on his way back to the capital. But in my head, I still couldn't shake off those words I heard in the Imperial Garden. Wait, wasn't my older brother's fate supposed to be unknown? I took the battle report, and suddenly, I could actually recognize some of the characters? My older brother used to try and teach me to read back in the manner, but my brain just wouldn't brain back then. But looking at the characters on this battle report right now, it was unmistakably older brother's handwriting. If older brother is fine, then why did I hear all that shady stuff back in the Imperial Garden? The more I thought, the more my head started hurting. I couldn't help but smack my head, accidentally hitting my still healing wound, and it hurt so bad I was seeing stars. Uh-oh, is my brain finally starting to brain now? Lua Ning, my Lua Ning. Your Si Jingchen truly adores you. Ever since I got pregnant, our simp ML Si Jingchen has been attached to my hip every free moment he gets. Because Si Jingchen was practically glued to me, he totally ghosted the other concubines. So naturally, whenever I went to pay respects to the Empress, I'd always catch some of them throwing shade. Lua Ning, why aren't you happy these days? Are you feeling unwell somewhere? Si Jingchen saw my gloomy face and asked worriedly, It's not my body that's unwell, it's my heart that's getting all the emotional damage. Ever since that injury to the back of my neck, I feel like I've been thinking too much. But honestly, this whole thinking more thing, not really sparking joy. Before, whenever I went to pay respects to the Empress, I'd just sip my tea and PS out, because who cared what they were saying anyway? Now that I understand a little, it's just more drama and headache. Plus, I'm starting to get this weird vibe from Ying Dao, but my brain's still buffering too much to figure out what. Peonies are like, the Empress's flower, right? Turns out rumors have been swirling in the palace that I, Lua Ning, disrespect the Empress. Basically, favored and acting out. I know I'm not exactly a conversationalist, so I barely talk to the Empress. How did that become Luo Ning disrespects the Empress? After a solid 3 or 4 days of my brain trying to connect the dots, I finally figured it out. Every time I went to pay my respects, all the other concubines, even the Empress, were dressed all elegant and understated. And then there was me, rocking a bright red floral. Our girl's whole fit and face were all prepped by Endao. She's been in the palace for ages, there's no way she doesn't know the tea on these rules. Our girl saw Si Jingchen nod, then kept it pushing, so I literally can't rock any red floral robes and like no peonies allowed on 'em either. Our simp ML Si Jingchen couldn't help but crack up at her serious face, gently pinching her cheek like the puppy he is. He just goes, "Bae, if you like it, it's a go. Nothing's off limits for my queen." Hearing Si Jingchen's answer, our girl was like, bet, and didn't think too much into it. Our girl figured Si Jingchen must have clued Endao in too, like, whatever my queen vibes with, she gets to wear, period. But our girl had no idea the inner court was about to serve up more drama and terror than a whole season of reality TV. During her pregnancy, Si Jingchen was low-key stressing that something would happen to her, so whenever he had a free moment, he was right by her side, being the doting hubby he is. But even with all that careful energy, our girl still got played twice. One time, at the Mid-Autumn Festival feast, our girl's exclusive dish got hit with poison. Thank goodness pregnancy messed with her taste buds and the dosage wasn't max level, so both she and baby 2.0 lived to tell the tale. Another time, at a victory banquet, our girl just poof fainted clean away. The imperial physician was like, yep, poisoned, but after a full-on palace raid, they couldn't find a single trace of the poison, so everyone was just on high alert, serving anxiety chic. Finally, our girl's mini-me was born safe and sound. Hearing that loud dramatic cry, our girl's entire body just went flop. Midwife, show me my baby. Our girl's voice was super weak and struggled to come out, but that midwife acted deaf AF, literally showing the baby to Endao first. It's a boy. The midwife murmured something to Endao, but then our girl, still weak, was like, Endao, I want to see my baby. Our girl had just popped out a baby. Her body was already running on fumes, and she passed out before she could even finish her sentence. When our girl finally woke up again, it was literally 3 days later. Where's my baby at? She cracked open her eyes. Her first words, show me, the baby. Si Jingchen saw her wake up and instantly snatched the baby from the wet nurse, placing it straight into our queen's arms. Luoning, meet our tiny human. She's the cutest little princess ever. Wait, a princess? Hearing Si Jingchen, our girl immediately ripped open the swaddling to check for herself. And yup, it was a princess. But like how? But hold up, our girl clearly heard that midwife say it's a boy, so how in the cultivation heavens did it become a princess? She lowered her gaze to the princess, but her inner thoughts were laser-focused on Si Jingchen, who was right there. Our girl was 100% sure she birthed a baby boy. So who pulled a switcheroo on her baby? Where is her real child now? Who is trying to unalive our queen? Is it the Empress, that Yungui Ren green tea, the midwife, or some other sneaky snake in the grass? In that moment, a gazillion possibilities flashed through her brain, and let me tell you, from birth till now, our girl had never been this utterly drained. Emperor, your girl is legit wiped. She needs a hot minute to recharge. Si Jingchen's face was giving full-on pity, and honestly, our girl didn't think he was faking it. She closed her eyes, replaying all the palace shenanigans in her head, and bing bong, our girl knew exactly who the culprit was. Nuo Niang, the Emperor's little errand boy, just dropped a message. His Majesty has important business tonight, so he won't be gracing your presence. And Dao brought in a bowl of that blood-nourishing, calming soup. Our girl scooped a spoonful of the calming soup, gave it a little blow to cool it down, then offered it to Endao, basically saying, sip, sis. And Dao, seeing our queen's unusual vibe, got super nervous and bowed her head. Nuo, Niang, what is this? Don't worry, there's no poison in this calming soups. Y'all aren't that dumb. Our girl just stared her down and her reaction, exactly what our queen predicted, period. This daily dose of blood-nourishing, calming soup, not poisonous. But when mixed with that Yunyi flower incense on the table, those two together brew up a colorless, tasteless poison. Legend says the previous dynasty's palace had a secret art for brewing goo poison. This consort isn't wrong, am I? And Dao heard our girl's tea spill, realized the jig was up, and surprisingly just stopped panicking. And that immortal elder who came to save my dad, that was also your little cosplay session, wasn't it? Like from start to finish, this whole thing was a masterclass in scheming. That immortal elder was actually implanting a goo worm in me, because my birth chart is yin-aligned, perfect for nurturing goo. You knew this all along, didn't you? Suddenly, Ying Dao, looking absolutely unhinged, pulls a dagger right out from her bosom. The goo worm in your body is fully formed. Once we summon the goo king, this whole damn world will be ours. Ying Dao spouted all that villain monologue, then finally realized something was off. Someone under a goo spell should have their mind totally sealed, right? They wouldn't be standing here, serving looks, like you are now. You removed the goo? Ying Dao stares into my eyes, realizing my gaze is not the blank stare she expected. The Empress spilled all the tea. So, should I call you Ying Dao, or should I address you as Wen He, the eldest princess of the former dynasty? How did you even break the goo? No, seriously, how could you possibly remove the goo? Ying Dao won't believe it, because to break this specific goo, you need the heart blood of her clan members. Yup, exactly what you're thinking. The heart blood of 99 of your clansmen. You killed them. You killed them all. Ying Dao hears I've slaughtered her last surviving clansman. Her entire demeanor shifts as I tell her, now your death truly won't be unjust. And then I add, oh, and your child? Buried right alongside them. My father had been secretly investigating the whole my child got swapped situation. He found out my baby was switched out of the palace, then dumped in a mass grave. But in the end, we were still one agonizing step too late. By the time my dad and big bro arrived, the baby had been gone for days. Following the clues, they traced it back to the Empress's maternal family, plotting rebellion. But seriously, a minister with no military power? How could they easily rebel? They dug deeper, and guess what? They were colluding with the literal remnants of the previous dynasty. I knew she was trying to use my dead child to push my buttons, so I pulled out the handkerchief my father gave me. Inside, a severed finger and a blood-stained jade pendant. Do you even know how much pain your little brother was in before he died? That blood-stained jade pendant and finger? Ying Dao started shaking like a leaf. Deep down she knew, no one from their clan was left alive. And your little brother? He even wanted to be emperor. Like seriously? How delusional. His arms and legs were severed, but he still clung to this jade pendant with his last breath. You! Ying Dao, trembling, points a shaky finger at my face. She can barely breathe out. You've been pretending to be a fool this whole time. I held back the tears threatening to spill, and each word, I made sure it hit hard. This queen wants your entire clan buried right alongside my child. And with that, I yeeted the finger and jade pendant straight at Ying Dao's face. Si Jingchen's shadow guards immediately swarmed forward to restrain Ying Dao. Ying Dao was dragged away by the shadow guards, her curses echoing endlessly, pure venom. I quietly closed my eyes, praying that my poor ill-fated baby could reincarnate quickly and find peace. Luoning, wake up. Luoning, wake up. Ugh, another freaking nightmare. I opened my eyes, let out a long shaky breath, and forced myself to just be calm. Ever since the Empress's clan and those pesky former dynasty remnants were dealt with, I've been plagued by nightmares every single night. Luoning, another nightmare, babe? Sai Jingchen sees my pale face, and our simp ML, heartbroken, pulls me into his embrace. It's over. Everything is finally over. Big bro, I miss dad. Okay, let's head back to the general's mansion right now. The general's mansion was a bit of a ride from the palace, and I just kinda dozed off. Luoning, Si Jingchen gently holds me, softly caressing me back to sleep. Next life, this emperor isn't doing the whole emperor thing anymore. We'll just be a normal, fluffy couple, together for all eternity, through every single life. I hold out my pinky, and he pinky promises. A pinky